Hey, my name is Heidi and I am the owner and founder of Guardians of Basileia, where I raise purpose-bred livestock guardian dogs for the small family farm and homestead, just like me. And so I also spend time educating people about livestock guardian dogs and trying to kind of bust a lot of the myths that are out there about owning and raising livestock guardian dogs, especially when it comes to applying livestock guardian dogs to small acreages like most homesteaders own. So one of the things I've been asked to discuss is littermate syndrome. And so today I wanted to make a video about what littermate syndrome is, what it's not, and whether it's something that you need to be worried about. So if that's something that would be interesting to you and you feel like would be helpful for you, stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about what littermate syndrome is. So what we do know is, I've got all my pups here. So littermate syndrome is this idea that if you have two puppies, like Audrey and Judy here, or Minnie and Charlie, who are also out here, that's Charlie and there's Minnie. These puppies will inevitably develop just unharnessed aggression toward each other. They will try to kill each other, and that you will have to rehome one of them or euthanize because it just gets so bad. You should never, ever, ever get two puppies from the same litter, especially not two same-sex puppies from the same litter, because it will end in disaster, like point blank, black and white, like just don't do it. Some people will even go so far as to say that if a breeder is willing to send home two puppies to the same family, that they're not an ethical breeder. Let's talk about that. Number one, is littermate syndrome something that is researched? And the answer to that is yes. And we have not been able to find any actual scientific correlation between puppies being littermates and between there being behavioral aggression issues in the future. There are correlations to the way that those puppies are raised. One of the main reasons that I think littermate syndrome actually happens is because people will decide that they want to get two puppies because they're like, okay, well, one puppy would be sad all by itself. Let's get two. And they have this idea in their head that the two puppies are going to kind of keep each other company, bond to each other, and that they won't have to do any of the work. What ends up happening, though, is regardless of whether these are littermates or not, a lot of the time what happens is even if you have two puppies from the same age range, even if they're not littermates, but they're of the same age range, what can happen is that people have a very hands-off philosophy with these dogs, and they can end up basically bonding to each other in a really neurotic way. It's really unhealthy, it's really codependent, and they just have this very unnatural bond toward one another. And when that happens, for some reason, and this is the part that's kind of unknown at this point, they will hit maturity and then start developing severe aggression issues toward one another. There's another component to that. And the other component to that is, aside from the fact that these puppies tend to be puppies that are together all the time, and they are not being bonded individually with, they also often are paired in a way where their two personalities are going to be in conflict. So if you have two dominant dogs, no matter whether they're littermates, whether they're the same age or not, whether they're an older and a younger, you are quite often, more times than not, going to have conflict between those two dogs. And that's something that is a very big motivator in my personal philosophy, that puppies should stay with their mamas and their siblings until at least 12 weeks. I prefer 14 weeks just because I think those extra 2 weeks make a really big difference. Regardless of that, when you have puppies who have very similar personalities in dominance level, you can end up with two dominant dogs who are paired together as puppies. They create a codependent relationship with each other, maturity and hormones hit, and it's a disaster. No, Judah. No. And so these are the two leading and contributing factors, in my opinion and my belief, to raising, to having littermate syndrome. So my experience, I have two puppies. I have Charlie and Minnie. They are about 16 months old now, and they are sister littermates. When we decided to retain Charlie and Minnie for our breeding program, we were really kind of thoughtful about the temperament and personality of each of those puppies. Minnie is a very social, playful, lighthearted, and much more submissive dog. Charlie has always been a little bit edgier, grittier, more independent, more opinionated, and she was pretty chill until she wasn't with the other puppies. She would get bullied or feel overwhelmed by the other puppies, and she would just tell them what for, even though she was a smaller puppy. But she had a lot of grit, and that's one of the reasons we decided to keep her, because she was the runt of that litter. But we just loved her guardian instincts and her grit. When we decided to keep those two girls, we knew that we had one that was a dominant personality, and we knew that we had one that was a more submissive personality. On top of that, we took a lot of steps to make sure that those puppies spent a lot of time apart. We would take one inside and leave one outside. There would be times where one would be in the goat pen and one would be outside of the goat pen, where we would take one in a car and leave one home. They were not together all the time. They spend a lot of time together, but they are not in any way, shape, or form together or 100% of the time. The other thing that we have going for us is that we have adult dogs that they spend time with, other dogs that they're bonded with. So we have Eleanor over here, we have their mama Lucy, we have Remington, who is our other adult dog, and they have other relationships, canine relationships, other than just each other. And so I really think that makes a big difference in preventing unhealthy neurotic attachment between puppies. If you were going to ask me, should I get two siblings from the same litter? My first answer is going to be no. Why is that? It's a lot of extra work. It's a big commitment. Not because it's an automatic, you're going to have littermate syndrome. I'm looking out here. I have, you're probably not going to be able to see her, but Audrey's out here checking on the cows. This is not an automatic, you're going to have littermate syndrome situation. It's just in order to properly raise these puppies so that they are not codependent, so that they're not neurotic, so that they have a good bond with their shepherd. In order for you to raise these puppies so that they have a good relationship with you, with each other, and that everything stays healthy, that their bond to each other and their bond to their shepherd is strong and healthy, and that they don't develop those kinds of neurotic attachments, it takes a lot more commitment. Raising two puppies at the same time is a very, very big commitment. And it's not something that most people are equipped to do. It's not something that most people are equipped to do without livestock guardian dog experience, period. Like, that's going to be a hard no for me. All that being said, I have sent one set of brother-sister littermates home together with very specific instructions to the family on how to raise them and how to avoid littermate syndrome. They spent tons of time working separately. The female would work during the daytime, the male worked during the nighttime, and they have been very, very, very good at making sure that those dogs are bonded with them separately, and they have been excellent. It's just something to keep in mind. Would I recommend getting littermates? No. But I do want to make clear, because there's so many people out there who have just gotten two puppies and then they hear all of this crazy horror story stuff about, oh my gosh, now they're going to kill each other. Get rid of one of your dogs. And I'm like, okay, slow your roll. Let's assess their personalities. Sorry, my allergies are really bad, but let's assess their personalities first. Do you have two dominant dogs? We're gonna probably need to rehome one. But do you have one that's super dominant and like assertive and outgoing, and one that's pretty chill? It might be okay. Number two, do you have the capacity to raise these puppies separately and bond with them separately and work with them separately? Do you have the infrastructure to be able to separate them if needed? Those are all really important questions. But I think it's really important to say that there is no scientific research that will say that with littermate syndrome, there is proof that there is causation between littermates from the same litter being brought home by the same time and ending in behavioral issues and aggression. That doesn't exist. So hopefully that is helpful. I have a lot of advice and kind of insight because I have the experience of raising 2 littermates, and they are not fully matured by this point. They are, like I said, they're about 1.5 years old. We have had some arguments, but no serious aggression issues, and they get along very well. Minnie, like I said, is generally very submissive. Charlie is more dominant. They respect each other, and they get along very well. I also have their mama, who is my pack leader, and she is an excellent diffuser to any escalating conflicts. She comes in and just with the right body language and the right vibe kind of just chill everybody out, and she's just amazing at that. And so not everybody's going to have that, but I want people to know this is not just a, oh my gosh, it's all going to go horrible kind of situation. It's a lot more nuanced than that. There's a lot more to consider and think about than that. And with the right management and the right shepherding and the right kind of mindset, a lot of the times I do actually think that littermates can be very successful. So if you guys have any questions, or if you've had any experience with littermate syndrome, I would love to hear it in the comments below. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope this was helpful, and have a great day.